Hello my spooky friends, today's video is another installment of American Horror Story in real life here for Spooky Sunday. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. So some of you guys noticed, but I completely forgot to upload a Spooky Sunday last week, and that's literally because of the holidays. As we all know, the holidays are freaking crazy, and I got so behind with filming in general that I was just like, meh, I'll deal with Spooky Sunday later, and then I never ended up getting around to it, so story of my life. So I'm going to make sure to be better about that in pre-film if I need to, because I like sticking to my schedule. It makes me feel good. I like bringing you guys videos. So that's going to be one of my New Year's resolutions, I think, is to be more on schedule with things and pre-film more, because it would be easier on me if I pre-filmed. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right on into this week's installment. What is it, a light?
Boo! You suck!
Of American Horror Story in real life. So for this week, we're going to be talking about Asylum, which is the second season of Horror Story, which we talked about here a couple times on the channel. And I wanted to talk about something that happened to one of the characters that actually allegedly happens in real life to people as well. And today's topic is alien related. My personal favorite type of spooky subject is alien anything, so I'm excited to be bringing that to you guys today. So let's jump on in. So as I said, we are going to be talking about American Horror Story Asylum, the second season, and we're going to be focusing in on a character named Kit, which is the boy played by Evan Peters, who essentially gets abducted by aliens. And him and his wife were actually based on real people as well. I've done a Spooky Sunday American Horror Story real life on them, so I'll go ahead and link that in the cards if you haven't seen it. It is extremely interesting, so go ahead and watch that if you haven't already, and then hop back over here to get the rest of the insight on this character. But essentially, Kit gets abducted by aliens, and he gets this little metal chip implant implanted into him through the aliens. The aliens basically tag him, if you will, with this little chip. This way they can keep coming back to him and abducting people around him and him in general, which does happen throughout the show. Now this chip is pretty extra. One of the characters, Dr. Arden, who we've also talked about here on the channel, he extracts the chip from Kit's body, and the chip literally sprouts legs and runs away. But basically they come to the consensus that this is how the aliens are able to basically pinpoint where Kit is at all time and keep up with him and follow up with him. They keep abducting all these ladies that are surrounding Kit and that basically have relations with Kit. They keep abducting them and impregnating them. But when I first saw this, I knew that they were referencing something that allegedly happens in real life, and that is alien implants, which sounds like something straight off of the Sci-Fi Channel, but allegedly it's something that actually happens. So as we know, there are hundreds of thousands of people that claim they've been abducted before, and you can't really go off of people's word unless they have proof. But some of these people who claim to be abducted do somehow have some sort of proof, and that proof is in the form of an alien chip implant in their body. So since the late 50s, people have been reporting being abducted and getting these chips implanted into them, and basically once they get this chip implanted in, these aliens can keep coming back and re-abducting them. Some of these people who have these chips in their bodies claim that they've been abducted multiple, if not dozens of times by these aliens, because they're able to basically hone in on them. It's kind of like a little GPS device, if you will, and they're able to basically hone in and abduct them and keep taking them for whatever weird situation they might be taking them for. And of course, this all sounds like a bunch of hearsay. It sounds absolutely crazy, but there's some real proof behind this. There's a doctor named Roger Lear who has basically dedicated his entire life and put his name and reputation on the line to devote his studies of science and devote his basically life to helping these people and helping get these implants out of their body and helping to try and figure out what the heck they are. Now, Dr. Lear is well known for being not only a doctor, but the doctor to go to if you think you have an alien implant stuck in your body. Now, Dr. Lear has always been a ufologist. He has always been interested in the paranormal and aliens. When he was little, he thought he saw aliens with his mom in his backyard, and ever since then he has been just so fascinated by them. And throughout his career as being a doctor, he had always heard stories of these patients basically having these metal implants in their bodies that appeared after they had abduction experiences, and they had no idea what they were or where they really came from. Dr. Lear basically put his name on the line and basically put his reputation at stake. I mean, people were going to call him a quack and a laughingstock if he got into this kind of alien stuff, but he basically put himself on the line to help these people who had had these traumatic and awful experiences. On August 19th of 1995, Roger Leir and his associates took out the very first alien implant from a patient surgically. And since then, they have removed dozens of alien implants from these patients. Now, these alien implants have been sent off to the lab, they've been sent off to multiple labs, and people have tried to figure out what these metals and what these little implants are made of, and no one knows. They are made of something that does not exist here on the planet. They're made of something that basically is not biologically known of here on Earth. So there isn't a whole lot of research besides Roger Leir and some of his associates kind of research that they put into this. There isn't really much out there to go off of because people have tried to disrespect this man like no other. People try to call this guy crazy and say that he's a fraud and just basically look at him like he's freaking insane, but that's how all science is if you're not following the exact medical science book. If you kind of veer away and kind of, I don't know, venture into the paranormal and venture into aliens at all, people in the scientific community just completely discredit you and basically shun you for the rest of your life. And Dr. Leir knew that this was the kind of treatment he was going to be getting when he went into this type of profession, but he has had so many successful procedures and surgical operations with removing these implants, and he's had a lot of happy patients who apparently their visitations have stopped since they got these implants out, which is insane to me. Like, that sounds absolutely crazy, but apparently this is a thing, and there are so many pictures of the actual implants, and there's scientific proof to back up that these have been tested by these labs and that they are not made of anything that we know of that exists here in Earth. So pretty creepy if you ask me, but as you can see in American Horror Story, bringing it full circle here, in American Horror Story Asylum, Kit had one of these implants, and that's how the aliens were able to come to him and keep abducting him and keep abducting the ladies around him. So obviously Ryan Murphy, the creator and the writer of Horror Story, obviously knows about Dr. Leir's work, which is super cool and interesting. I mean, it's really scary, and I would never want a crazy foreign implant in my arm. I mean, I don't even want a regular implant, which will probably be coming one of these days, but no. I'm going to stay far away from those. I don't trust anything. I don't even have an Alexa because I don't trust the woman. But at the end here, Kit basically gets abducted by the aliens right before he's about to die. He's an old man. He has cancer. He's on basically death's door. And he gets abducted by the aliens, and they take him away, and no one ever ends up knowing what happens to Kit, which is kind of abnormal for Horror Story because they always tie up loose ends. I mean, even if it takes a few seasons to do so, they always end tying up the loose ends for each character and giving us some sort of like closure for them. And for Kit, we never got anything other than him just being abducted before he was about to die. So people are speculating, they have their speculation caps on, that this upcoming season that's going to be airing in probably September, October, is going to be basically a continuation of the alien storyline, and maybe we'll see Kit again. I really hope so. That would be so cool. I am like 100% backing that theory and 100% hoping that we get aliens yet again in Horror Story, because they were so brief and so subtle in Horror Story Asylum. Like, you barely saw them, and they were basically a huge driving force for the entire plot line, but you barely ever saw them and you barely ever realized really what was happening, which was a really interesting approach to aliens, because that's probably how they are in real life. Very, very subtle. You kind of notice them, but then at the same time, are they really there? Who knows? But with that being said, that is going to be wrapping up this week's Spooky Sunday. Please let me know down in the comments if you've heard of Dr. Leir's work, if you believe these people's stories, if you've seen some of the implants online. Let me know how you feel about this, because there are people who are just like, no, none of this is real. But there are people out there who are invested into this theory and into these alien implants. So let me know if you've heard of it before. But with that being said, that is going to be wrapping up this week's video. I do hope that you consider subscribing and go ahead and give me a big old thumbs up and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more. But I hope that you are having an absolutely amazing, beautiful, and slightly spooky day wherever you are. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye!